Let me go. Let's go. Let's go. Um, this can't happen. From Jamari. Let's roll.
So it has been almost a year since I last talked about the Snow White situation, where an actress personally tanked the release of a $100 million movie before it ever even hit theaters. This of course all came in the wake of several interviews lead woman Rachel Ziegler would do, where she was very critical of the original Snow White movie that she would now be starring in.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Now this was a surprise to people because at first she had seemed pretty grateful for this opportunity.
Yo, fam, she's saying that before the movie even starts, that she's meant to be acting in, trying to make it out on some kind of PDF or some kind of yeah.
Opportunity.
Every day on Snow White was a pinch me moment. I was surrounded by the best crew and the best people ever, and even just getting to see our director Mark today was just like, oh right, we made a movie and it's really wonderful and it's yummy and it feels really delicious in my heart.
But then something would obviously change, and there were other instances where she would be caught straight up lying about her experiences with the film and with Disney in general.
I'm a really big Disney fan. I grew up at the Disney parks. My parents took me every summer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like, it's a part of my upbringing. It's my favorite thing, so.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Was terrified of it, never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film.
Now obviously these
And they getting, well, no, that's not, I can't even go hammer tough for that, because, you know, most of these actors who do people's biography or do people's story when they're acting, they don't even know who the people are. They cast them and they learn about it within have 3, 4, 5, 6 months to learn their part. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even get angry with her for that. But I would say, doesn't she have a PR team to go shut the fuck up? It is a Disney movie. Shut the fuck up. While she's talking, somebody should be in the back shut the fuck up. We ain't even got the back end on this payment yet, and you here talking shit. You better act like you love this film. Act like it's the best thing since fucking Ice Cream. You know what I'm saying? What the? Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Let's go.
interviews and the side-by-side lies would go super viral. And the Disney people are very serious about their movies. So they were out riding in the streets over this, looting the local Toys R Us, and overall it seemed like every time she opened up her mouth,
Weird.
it was hurting this movie and its future release. Disney in general has had issues with several of their live-action remakes, as they are mostly known over the last couple of decades for not being able to hold the jockstrap of the original films.
Fucking it up, bro.
And when people specifically speak about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney fans seem to hold it up in a very high echelon, as it is largely considered to be...
And even at me now, I'm looking at Snow White totally different, yeah? Because somebody brought down to me, I think early in the year, that Snow White was literally based off of someone on all the different stages that someone on cocaine, Snow White, goes through. That's the name of all the Seven Dwarfs. And I was like, yeah, but what about, you can't say that, people are like, yeah, but you got sleepy, and people like, so after a long bender and going 3, 4 nights, no sleep, what happens at the end? Don't your body crash? And I started looking at Snow White different. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, if there's any truth to this might be genius at the same time. What the fuck? Yeah, this is kids watching this.
the origin of the full-length animated film, premiering for the first time back on December 21st of 1937. And let me just tell you guys right now that these people love that fucking
Disney.
mouse. To me, it's almost like he has
Disney.
mind control on their ass that makes them fly all the way to California, spend hundreds of dollars on a hotel, $40 to park, hundreds of dollars to enter Mickey's asshole, and of course you cannot forget $70 on some stupid-ass ears with their $20 churro in their head.
Right.
Screaming kids everywhere,
And Disneyland
long
in
ass
Florida,
lines.
you know what I'm saying?
Not to mention the rides kinda suck. I mean, I don't know, I just don't really see the appeal. But this
Neither
means
me.
something to them, damn it. And so they were up
But
in
then,
arms.
I don't see the appeal, but as a kid, I always wanted to go to Disney World or Disneyland. As a kid, oh shit, that was like Willy Wonka. That was up there with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I wanted to go there. But facts. As you get older, you're like, what the fuck kind of horse shit you guys trying to sell me? It's like a scam, extortion scam.
And with damn near 100
What
years
about it?
between
For
the two
real, for
releases
real.
of these films, obviously some things are going to be changed. But when that change comes at the core messaging of the film or some of the main characters, I do feel like people are pretty much always going to have a problem with that. For example, Rachel and this other woman, Gal Gadot, were out bragging about the fact that this was no longer going to be a love story, but now it was going to be a tale of women's empowerment, calling the old film outdated and creepy.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be
yeah.
saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. We have a different
that's an
approach to
experience right
what
there.
I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. Reality is that
So what? We talking about Snow White. What do you mean it's not about the love scenes? Andrew could get cut. Prince Andrew. So what the fuck are we talking about? It's no longer Snow White. What is it called then? Just Snow? We already got Snow. Jon Snow. Game of Thrones. You can't just call it white. I'm like, what kind of... You changing the whole dynamics of the movie.
that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince.
I think she
and
gangster,
she's the
though.
proactive one.
Netflix is
and
giving us
she's
some
the one
serious
who
role. I like
set
this. Yeah, she
terms.
gangster though.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for like modernizing a film, but to me there are plenty of other Disney movies
I
that
won't
are
be
kinda
watching Wonder
all
Woman if
about
she wasn't in it.
showcasing women
Guarantee
being
that.
badass, with kind of the core messaging being that a woman can do anything a man can. For example, you got Mulan, you got the redheaded chick with the bow,
Mulan was
and I'm
tight,
sure
though.
there's many more. I'm just really not into Disney like that.
Neither
Either
me,
way,
but
when
Mulan,
an
my
early
kids
scene
are.
from the movie leaked, people everywhere were wondering why the hell they swapped out the iconic Seven Dwarfs to replace them with the Justice League of Diversity. Now, personally, I would have
Fuck is
loved to
that?
see actual dwarfs being used in the
Real
making of
talking.
this film, and I'm sure they could have made them well-loved characters helping the actors out with their careers. You know, it's not like there's a whole lot of work for little people in Hollywood. And
Hold on there. Say what? Yeah, what's this so much in here? This is a parody, right? This is a fucking joke. This cannot be from the Snow White movie. Like if the Snow White movie in Disney comes out and they ain't got no real dwarfs inside that movie, I'm not watching it. I don't want to see it. You got real dwarfs out here who are actors. You could give them a fucking role in the film. Are you taking the piss out of my life? Nope. Not having a bar of it. Nope. I don't even want to hear about it. Fuck that.
this decision would prove to be a bad one. In fact, so bad that at first Disney lied and then had to double back to admit that this was the plan to use this weird cast of characters.
Nah.
And the outrage was actually so loud that
Nah.
Disney had to pretty much go back and refilm this entire movie, making it a $100 million blunder as they would now use CGI dwarfs instead of the Justice League crew. And now they won't even be calling them dwarfs anymore, and they will now be referring to them as magical creatures. trailers. In fact, they took the word dwarf straight out the title. Regardless
CGI,
of Disney's attempt to right their wrongs and steer this massive ship in the right direction, sometimes the waters are just too choppy, and no matter how you try and navigate a situation to try and fix it, the damage has already been done, and it goes down like the Titanic. It's like when your friend keeps going back to that toxic ex who keeps cheating on him. Like, good luck with that, dude. We already saw the trailer, and we
That's
know
that
how this
good
shit's
guy
gonna
got him
end.
whipped.
Now, speaking of trailers, over 10 months after all the drama, and a year after most of those interviews, the newly released version has come out, and it's actually rumored to be one of the most disliked videos in YouTube history. As you guys
I
can
haven't
see,
seen
the
it,
new
though.
release date is around a year after the original rendition of this film was set to come out.
2025.
Here we get to see the CGI dwarves in action.
Now, I'll be honest with you, right? 2024, I don't need to see no CGI. And now you've taken it from making it a Disney movie for all to see to turn it into a kids film. And there are real dwarfs out there who are actors trying to make it into Hollywood that you could have cast for this. Don't tell me that BS. So now you made it CGI, it just takes away from the whole realness of the movie. If you were to use real people, it'd have been like Snow White, Seven Dwarfs movie. Now you made it CGI. I'm like, what? So what? You put CGI in it, you might as well have just given me a Snow White revamp cartoon then. I don't need a CGI. Just give me a revamp to the cartoon. The same exact stories, the same exact lines, just a new modern look to the old classic. You know what I'm saying? The minute you put CGI, waste the fucking movie.
Cleaning up her room, I guess she just sees them as her little slaves now. Grumpy, you can clean the toilet, you bitch. Obviously, we get to see Snow White played by
Hey.
Rachel herself, as well as the evil queen, Other Lady. And in general, people were still upset about this, as you could see by the dislikes.
Damn.
And most of the negative comments I saw, which was pretty much like all of them, were mainly about the new CGI solution to the dwarf fiasco.
Yep.
I mean, just based on the trailer, this looks like just about every other Disney live-action remake we have gotten recently. A mixture of real people and shitty CGI. Like I said, something Disney has been known for a very long time. I mean, there's so many examples in their various movies of the CGI just not looking natural at all in the real-world environment. Like Roger Rabbit was looking better than this shit, and it's going on 40 years old. But I mean, hey,
I'm not even lying. Bruv. Roger Rabbit was so ahead of their fucking time. Man, the creators of Roger Rabbit need a fucking award for just fucking Lifetime Achievement Award. Up to now, Roger Rabbit is still looking better than some of the shit that they're bringing out.
I might be biased towards Jessica Rabbit, cause
Nah,
goddamn,
you're not
you know,
biased,
back
bruv.
in the day, I
Nah.
would flip on that Cartoon Network, Roger Rabbit would be playing. I was like, should I be watching this? And don't get me wrong,
Bruh.
I understand wanting to get a new generation of kids into something that is very successful for an entity like Disney, but there is always a right and a wrong way to do so. For example, back when I was a kid, I loved baseball, and one of my favorite movies was a cult classic film from the 70s called The Bad News Bears, a raunchy comedy about a ragtag team of misfits who tries to compete in a tough little league division. I already loved this movie, and in 2005 when they made an updated version to it, I couldn't have been more excited. And while the two movies are obviously different, as the new one had been brought into a modern era, especially with its humor, it still held close enough to its source material that it was very enjoyable. Whereas Snow White seems to be dead on arrival, based on decisions made in not only the creation of the film, but also by the lead character's offset. I really do think that Disney forgot about the sunk cost fallacy here, and they really should have taken this movie out back and shot it once the original negative feedback started rolling in. Now it really just feels like them showing up to a party that they weren't really invited to. Just look at how these two have changed their tone towards each other since that first interview only a year ago.
I'm always grateful, and I have to pinch myself for the love and the appreciation and the respect that we get from our incredible audience.
Look at
So
her face.
yes, I'm very, very lucky, grateful, and privileged for
Look at her
all this
face.
love.
I mean, Rachel won't even look
face.
her in the eyes at this point. After all the heat she's received from this whole situation, I wouldn't be surprised if she despises both her,
Yep.
this film, and even her part in it. As
Yeah,
well.
this girl's mouth has just fucked up her paycheck, bruv. You just fucked up her bag. By talking your shit, you just fucked up my bag for being, you know what I mean? Like, Come on now. Come on
but was
now.
supposed to be one of the biggest roles of her career and a true breakout opportunity, could now put the nail in the coffin of her chances at stardom. I
Yeah,
mean, when you really
real
think
talking.
about it, if everything would have gone right, this is a film that people might be watching for 30, 40, 50 years. Like, I'm talking about future generations of people going back and showing it to their kids like they did with the original Snow
she
White.
fucked up.
And it appears these
She
two
fucked
also
up.
might have tension due to their widely different political beliefs, which they both seem very passionate about. So I would not be surprised if their relationship has soured at this point like milk left out in the Texas sun. But I want to know what you guys think about all of this
Okay.
down below.
Yeah.
Should Disney just
Fucked up the
stop
Snow White
making
movie.
these real-life renditions of their classic movies? In general, remakes usually have a hard time recapturing that magic of the original film. And I really do think this
Yeah,
Snow
yeah,
White,
yeah.
which
I
you
ain't
would
seen
think
the,
would be destined for success,
Little
is
Mermaid.
probably going to be a pretty big flop for Disney after they just kept pouring so much money in. I don't know, I guess that's kind of why I dressed like this today, because
But yeah, no, I think a lot of the original Disney classics, if redone, should be what we say in the anime world, revamped. In the sense of redrawn. So it's still a cartoon, but more clearer, more cleaner, a little bit more graphics to it, but still the same story, same lines. You know what I'm saying? It's just a cleaner, newer version to watching the same thing. Yeah, if you ain't gonna do that, leave it alone. Classics are called classics for a reason, bro. Yeah, and the way they've gone and redone all of their classical cartoon movies from the past in recent years, and all of them have failed. I thought after the second or third one they would have took a hint, but obviously they haven't.